I said, I've learned, don't protect your past, don't define yourself as a product, and you always steward this company for the long term. And that, if you keep those three things in your mind, you will take great comfort in many of the decisions you make, regardless of what people think about them. And I learned many of those from them.
So you went to Northwestern. At the time, did you ever think you would want to join IBM or be in a large computer company or enterprise services company? And what did you think you were going to do when you graduated from college? You actually went to work for General Motors initially.
I did, actually. And that's, I think, as this is something I tell so many of our young people, and that you mentioned I'm an engineer. I am a big believer that in the next, I think, decade in America, every student is going to have some kind of STEM background, right? Science, technology, engineering, math, something like that for America to be competitive. And when I went into it back then, there were many times I would have been the only woman in a class. I'll often meet colleagues that'll say, don't you remember me? We sat next to each other. And I'm like, I don't. And they're like, well, there was one of you and many of us. And so in that time frame, there were not many women in engineering at all. And people say, well, why did you go into engineering? And my really strong advice for anyone, and my nieces, my nephews, it's all about, I think what it taught me was how to solve problems. That's what and I think if you don't have to be a practicing engineer even. The idea that engineering does that is teaches you how to problem solve, which I'll get to your question then of how did I end up where this was. But this problem solving, to me, then kind of prepares you to do anything. And